Welcome back to Math Concepts. We are continuing our work in the area of personal finance. In this video, we will discuss how to deal with simple interest loans. So we'll talk about how to compute the monthly payment if you take out a simple interest loan, and we will also discuss the equivalent annual percentage rate. So the difference between a simple interest loan and an APR loan is with a simple interest loan, the interest is computed all at once. With an APR loan, it's a little different. The interest is computed each month and it's only on the unpaid balance. So with an APR loan, there's an incentive to pay that balance off more quickly so that the unpaid balance drops and you owe less interest. With a simple interest loan, that's just not something you can do because the interest is computed at the beginning all at once. Let's go to the document camera and look at an example of an a simple interest loan. So the key thing that I want you to take away from this video is how to find the monthly payment for a simple interest loan and compute the equivalent APR. Okay, so find the monthly payment and compute the equivalent APR. So let's look at this little example. Let's say you purchase a washing machine and dryer and it costs you $750. You make a 20% down payment and you agree to repay the balance in 12 equal monthly payments. The finance charge is 8% simple interest. Okay, so the washer dryer set costs you $750, but you put 20% down. Okay, so that means you're responsible for paying 80% of that $750. Okay, so $600 is the amount that you're taking the loan out for. Okay, and of course we're familiar with that from just everyday life. If we make a down payment on something, that's a payment that comes at the beginning and then you take a loan out for the rest. Okay, so you paid down 20% of $750, which works out to be $150. That means you are responsible for the remaining $600. Okay, now the finance charge is 8% simple interest and it's 12 months. Okay, so the finance charge is 0.08, right? So we just use principal times rate times time. 600 times 0.08 times 1. Okay, notice we're basically always going to be measuring time in years unless we're given like a monthly interest rate or something like that, but that's unusual. Okay, so let's do a calculation here. We take 600. Okay, so 600 times 0.08 times 1. Of course, you don't need to put that last part in there. Okay, so the interest is $48. Okay, so the maturity value is 648. Okay, you remember that from a previous video, I'm sure. That's the amount we actually have to pay back. All right, and a simple interest loan, all we do is take 648, which is the amount that we have to pay back. We divide that by 12, which is the number of payments. So 648 divided by 12, and we're getting $54. Okay, so you have to pay back $54 each month for your washer dryer. Okay, now this is an interesting little comparison. Okay, so they're asking us to kind of be a little hypothetical and say, okay, let's estimate the annual percentage rate. So we're going to use this formula right here. And that formula is that the APR is approximately equal to 2 times n times r over n plus 1. Okay, so n is the number of payments and r is the simple interest rate. Okay, so we had 12 monthly payments, so 2 times 12 r, remember we're always going to convert that percent notation to a decimal when we do a computation, so 8% we got to use 0.08. n plus 1, that's 13. Remember, there were 12 monthly payments, so that's the number of payments. Okay, we just do this little calculation here. 2 times 12 times 0.08 equals, divide by 13 equals. Okay, so I am getting 0.1477. Alright, so that is 14.77% equivalent APR. Alright, so the reason that this is coming up much higher is that when you have a simple interest loan, you don't have the flexibility of being able to pay it down faster. Whereas with an APR loan, you would have that possibility, and we'll talk more about that in later videos. Okay, but this is almost always going to be a higher number than your simple interest rate. Okay, so we got three things here. Finding the finance charge, that's just a simple interest calculation. Finding the monthly payment, that's dividing up the maturity value. And this estimating the APR, this uses a new formula. So we're not going to worry about where that comes from for right now. We'll just use it as needed. Okay, so this formula is for estimating the equivalent APR when you are dealing with a simple interest loan.